Hello everyone, Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. It is just after 6. This is the first time I've sat down to do any knitting, anything to do with knitting or crochet or anything in the day. And as it's because of the time, that's what I'm doing. My sweater, that's how far I've got with the sleeve. As you can see, I'm not sure what it measures. No, with my tape, there's my tape measure. I do 17 inches up to the armholes. This is 9 inches, so I have another 8 inches to do. I thought I might have got it nearly finished last night, but things don't always work out the way you'd like them to. But I was busy this morning. I had things to do this morning, and then I went out and did a shopping haul. I did need a lot of things. I was out of nearly everything. Had no milk. I used the last 2 slices of bread for toast this morning. I had no butter. Had no fruit left. Just everything. That's what I do now. I wait until practically everything's gone. Everything I can survive without. When it's all gone and gets to some things I do need, that's when I do my shopping. So I did that, and then I did a shopping haul when I came back. And then my granddaughter Cheryl's partner Craig landed this afternoon. And he had come because he had called into somebody's house on my estate, some relative of Cheryl's, I think it is, her uncle or somebody lives on my estate somewhere. He couldn't remember what the number was of the house. I think it's on the same street as mine where I live. It's a big circle like that with well over 150 houses, and he couldn't remember what number this uncle lived. And he was texting, but it kept going to voicemail. He couldn't get an answer from them to find out what house. He was messaging Cheryl, but she just knows where the house is. She doesn't know what the number is. So he was spending his time in my house, annoying me instead. And then I made a cup of tea for him, or a cup of coffee. I made a cup of tea for myself and a cup of coffee. So he was I was actually peeling rhubarb. I had pulled some sticks of rhubarb off, and I was stripping, the rhubarb and that, ready to chop it and put it in the pan. And so he came in to see what I was doing, and while I was making the cups of tea and coffee as well. And then he noticed something. He's very tall. I don't know why he was looking at my ceiling, but I had to get the council in to fix the light in my ceiling. I had one of those long tube things. There was 2 tubes in like that and a long thing like that on the ceiling. Well, it went up the creek, and when the council come, they didn't put those ones in anymore. So they just put me a bulb in the middle, which I was happy about anyway, because I could change it myself. But him being taller than me could see more. He was looking up at the light, and he could see more than I could see. And he says, "There's a hole in the ceiling." I said, "Oh, is that what that dark spot is?" I was looking up. I says, "I was wondering, I'm going to have to paint the ceiling, the one, because I says, they've took that thing off. And with it being there for years, the last time it was painted, it was just painted around it, around the cover." And he was saying, "Oh, well, I can do that for you." But he says he was in his van, and he said, "I've got something in the van, I can fix that hole for you." So I had him fixing that. He did. He fixed the hole. He put some filler stuff around it, and he fixed the hole in the ceiling. I says, "Oh well, you've worked for your cup of coffee then, haven't you?" And he was still waiting, but couldn't get an answer from this relative that he was trying to see. And then by the time he went home, and then I thought I had left my car out on the drive when I came in from shopping, and I had intentions of. I always leave my garage door open. There's nothing in for anyone to pinch. It's just rubbish wood and stuff like that in, and other things. There's some shelves in with things on, but there's nothing anybody to always leave the garage door open. So I can just drive straight back in again when I come back. Every time I go out, that's what I do. Unless it's very windy. And my garage door is one of those up and over ones. You push it up and, up and down like that. And if it's very windy, I do shut it then because I don't want to come back to a mangled garage door. Well, with leaving it open, it's been open for every time I've went out. I close it every night time, and once the car's in the garage, I'm not going out anymore. I close it and lock it then. But every single leaf on the estate is blown into my garage, and all this crisp papers, sweet papers, and everything. And I kept, every time I went out, I said to myself, when I come back, I'm not going to put the car in the garage. I'm going to leave it on the drive. I'm going to sweep up all those because the leaves will go in my compost bin and the papers will go in my other bin. That's what I intended doing. Every time I went out, I kept forgetting and driving straight back into the garage. But I remembered today, so I thought I'm going to clear that. And down the side of my garage, there was a lot of where my bins are. I have three bins. You know what we have for. One is a gardening one, anything from your garden, your leaves and things like that. And the other, the recycle one in your waste bin. And behind all them bins was piles and piles of leaves and rubbish. Everything just blows down either into my garage or down the side of the house if the garage is shut. So I cleared all that as well. And there was a lot of leaves to put in my compost bin. It was quite full actually when I got them all out. And by the time I finished that, and then had my tea, and I came upstairs to do a bit of knitting. And it's after 6 o'clock now, so but at least everything's tidy and like I was stripping the bits off the rhubarb and that for to put in. But what I do with my rhubarb when I strip it, I don't cook it straight away. I put it into the pan and I put a lot of sugar on it, put the lid on and leave it overnight. Then that sugar soaks into the rhubarb. There's a lot of liquid in it. The liquid comes out of the rhubarb, but the sugar, leaving it on for the soak in, it helps to soak it in into the rhubarb. So to get your rhubarb a little bit sweeter than as if you cooked it straight away with the sugar in, you wouldn't get the same effect because it hasn't soaked the sugar up into the rhubarb. So I would probably either tomorrow morning or after I've been to Sherrod's tomorrow night, I'll either make a rhubarb crumble or a rhubarb tart with it. So that's what I've been doing today. And this is what I'm doing now, and I'm hoping to get this, maybe get this sleeve finished tonight, and then I can get on to the other sleeve, and then there'll just be the neck to do on the sweater, and then I'll be able to sew it up and see what it looks like, see how tight it is. It may look a little bit tight at first, I think, but if it's anything like the other one I knitted with the same wool, it's stretched about 4 inches. So that's just a little bit today to let you know what I've been doing and what else I'm going to do, and not be doing anything else but this knitting until tomorrow morning. I'll do a little bit before I go down my granddaughter's. I'll be doing a little bit crochet and maybe a little bit more of this little cardigan. So thumbs up and subscribe, I'll catch you all another time. So bye for now.